you can manipulate everybody into doing what you want, but we know the truth. All your calculating works and your sinister agents. You mean to destroy this planet and kill us all? We're not gonna help. No way, no how. So yeah, you keep talking. But no one's gonna hear you because we're destroying everything. Everything electronic, starting with this evil radio box thing.
One of the survivors found out that Maxis wasn't being honest about the consequences of his Plan B. The survivors were so concerned with killing the other side that neither Maxis nor Richtofen gained control of the tower in this region. The CIA and CDC were still operational in this post-apocalyptic world. Their status and condition were unknown, but it was probably not good. 16 agents were sent to Green Run. Half were from the CIA, and half were from the CDC. Half went to the town in Green Run, and the other half went to the farm.
We will work together against the zombies, yeah? Co-op time! So much fun! Wunderbar! You're on 2 teams and only 1 team makes it out alive, so good luck.
Despite working for the same government, they ended up fighting each other due to their differing beliefs and goals, as well as due to Richtofen's prodding rhetoric and zombie attacks. Marlton teamed up with a southern woman named Abigail Misty Briarton, and they happened upon the long-abandoned ghost town area known as Green Run, more specifically the bus depot, by the time of at least 20 years since the missiles hit, sometime after 2045. Misty gave Marlton her nickname for him, Marley, and they felt romantically attracted to each other. They fought against zombies when the bus driver arrived, with Samuel and Russman in the bus, who invited them aboard. Sometime following, Misty, Marlton, Samuel, and Russman went inside the bus depot, and Maxis contacted them through the announcement system there to ask for their help.
You're not one of those foul creatures. Excellent. I have been searching for decades. Listen now. What I have to say is of the utmost importance to mankind. If you would see this planet freed from the curse of these wretched undead creatures and the monstrous evil which controls them, then you must obey my every command. I cannot effect physical change, yet. You must be my hands. Only you can stop that awful worm, Richtofen.
A chemical was in the local zombies around the area that made them often explode when killed when they were on fire, which was common due to the exposed lava everywhere from the missiles. The strange creatures created by mixing genetic code had also escaped by this time and repopulated. They were now known as the denizens of the forest, and they lived underneath the areas covered in dust from the missiles. However, they frequently emerged from their burrows to protect their territory. While surviving against the zombies in the Battle of TranZit, the survivors found some parts they put together to create a portable wind turbine to help them in their endeavors.
That's it! Now, complete the device! Do it!
They also heard Richtofen for the first time, who had been quiet for a while.
Excuse me, just getting used to the ether. Plays havoc on the pipes. Right.
They then got back on the bus, and the bus driver greeted them.
Welcome aboard. Please have a seat. Thank you for choosing Consolidated Coach Corporation Bus Lines. We know it's a big decision who you ride with, and we are privileged to have been chosen.
When they were passing the tunnel, some error occurred within the bus driver that made him seemingly endlessly loop the bus route in a circle.
Error. Global Positioning System Navigation error. Maintain current course. Implement automatic course upgrade protocols.
Samuel found that he could hear Richtofen in his head, much like how Yuri could hear Samantha. The survivors fought off zombies at the nearby diner and farm before arriving at the power facility. They entered the secret hub of the power grid and turned it back on. When the power came back on, it freed him from his confinement. He instantly vanished, now residing in the sky, creating huge thunderstorms.
Excellent! You have freed it! But now you must turn off the power. An active power grid will disrupt all communications between us and make it impossible to accomplish the mission I have for you. Shut down the power.
Maxis then contacted them again and told them that he needed them to turn the power off so he could consistently communicate with them without the power grid interfering with his signal. Richtofen meanwhile decided that he would enact Maxis' plan B for himself before Maxis got a chance to use it. Anytime the survivors died, Richtofen used his powers to reset them, to bring them back to life to try again, hoping they would choose to help him instead of Maxis. A few different possibilities for how events would play out would exist. In one version of events, the survivors continued to survive, not heeding Maxis' instructions. Richtofen gave Samuel instructions to build something with a jet engine to use to heat an electric pylon in Green Run, known as the Tower of Babel.
Ah, good job! Wunderbar! You've done well, my friend. But this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Of your group, you are the only one who seems to be able to hear me. So you must convince your deaf friends to heat up the obelisk. Setting a puny fire will not be enough. It must reach an extreme temperature. Now, if only you know how to build a portable engine of some sort, which might grow very hard. Some sort of jet engine with an afterburner? Oh, what, you do? Oh, goody, goody. So, why are you still standing here listening to voices in your head? Get to it, Schweinhund, or Maxis will kill you all!
They scoured the area for pieces of the jet gun that Richtofen wanted.
Oh, that is a large piece! Now you have everything you need to make the jet engine, quickly!
Then they used those pieces to construct the Thrustodyne Aeronautics Model 23. Meanwhile, they also built a device under the Tower of Babel, which consisted of a purple Element 115 meteor that had crashed in the bus depot. Richtofen told them to bring the jet gun to the tower along with the nav card for the contraption they made, the nav card reader.
Excellent! Your skills are superb! Now get this thing to the obelisk! We must hurry, for Maxis is a busy little beaver, and the dummy bird will kill you all! Trust me! Ah, that is good! You have accomplished much! But to activate the computer, you must have the little nav card thingy, which plugs into the computer thingy. Don't worry your little brain about what it does or how it works. Just go find it!
They brought the Thrustodyne Aeronautics Model 23 and nav card to the Tower of Babel, which was in the middle of a cornfield. They blasted the meteor that was atop the nav card reader with the Thrustodyne Aeronautics Model 23 until the gun exploded due to overheating.
Ja, jawohl! It's so hot that it's burning up! Oh! Sexy! Now we need the 115, and the only place to get that is from the flesh! The flesh! You must wrest the 115 from the undead by killing them! Oh boy, do you need a bunch of it! Get busy!
Richtofen then ordered Samuel and the others to wrest Element 115 out of the zombies by killing them under the tower.
That is a large group of Lebendentoten. Now lure them to the obelisk. Then make them go boom! Yeah, I can feel the tingling in my toesies.
Richtofen then announced that too much power was flowing into the tower.
Ah, wunderschön! But now too much power is flowing into the obelisk. You must reduce the incoming power by a factor of 4.
So they reduced the power input by throwing EMP grenades at some of the electric lights around the area. Richtofen then gave his excuse of a thank you for helping him in his plan to heal the Earth for his own amusement.
Yeah, you did it! Soon this beautiful planet will be healed once more, and the flesh will cover the Earth! What a glorious day that will be for you! You will be the hero that has saved all of the Earth for me to play with!
However, in another version of events when the survivors were brought to life and trying to survive, the survivors instead turned the power off. Maxis then praised them for listening to him.
Yes, outstanding. Now we can continue our other tasks. Out
of the sky beamed down him, who attacked the survivors. They led him to the Tower of Babel, where Maxis told them to kill him to capture its essence to use as a power source.
Kill the creature! Kill it now, so we may capture its essence!
They placed 2 turbines under the tower and then killed him, fulfilling Maxis' command. The power was too much, so they placed some turbines around the electric lights that were in the area. This gave Maxis just enough power to power the Tower of Babel, and he thanked them for their help.
Yes! The spire is online! Now, if the other sites can only be likewise empowered, then perhaps there is still a chance to complete that which was begun so many years ago. Your help has been invaluable. Farewell!
The Tower of Babel was then powered for either Richtofen or Maxis. The survivors didn't fully understand the significance of their choices, and they continued their survival against the zombies. The bus driver continued his loop around the Green Run area. The survivors tried to insert the nav card into the nav card reader, however the reader claimed it was the incorrect nav card. Richtofen started to become more irate, varying his tone from his usual eccentric tone to a deeper, garbled tone.
I don't understand. Why are you doing this? Why me? Travel where? Don't you get it? There's nothing left! Oh, how did you... What? What do you mean, mend the rift? Well, maybe I don't wanna. Huh? Did you think of that? Oh, you can't tell them about the flesh! What I did, they'd kill me if they knew. Ah, shit!
If you're gonna talk to your imaginary friends, Stu, you might want to wait till you're in a Z-free zone.
Stupider! Get over here, now!
Come on, come on!
What do we do now?
We arm up, find a good place to defend, kick ass, that's it!
I don't understand.
What are you talking about, Stuhlinger? Misty made it pretty clear.
Accept your fate! Begin anew!
We're going down! We're going down fighting! Now!
Have we been here before?
Richtofen said they needed to go to China and then teleported the survivors there, leaving the bus driver behind. He then told Samuel that he needed to mend the rift, but Samuel didn't know what he meant. When Samuel talked back, Richtofen threatened to tell the other 3 about Samuel's history with the flesh. Russman then sacrificed himself to save Samuel from some zombies that were behind him. The other 3 went down an elevator fighting zombies and died themselves. Richtofen used his power to resurrect them to get the job done, reliving the Battle of Die Rise, leaving the survivors with deja vu. The survivors were all in China, specifically the multi-level mall and sweatshop in Shanghai Province 22, China. The buildings were in a state of architectural chaos due to the missiles that had hit the Earth. The mall had snapped in 2, and the top lay upside down next to the bottom. The sweatshop and the 2 halves of the mall became known as the Great Leap Forward, named after the Chinese movement of long ago. Immediately, Maxis contacted them again, telling them his communication problems were fixed.
The energy fields are no longer disrupting my communications via electrical devices. You will hear me, and you should listen.
The SDC soldiers, as well as many Chinese civilians, were now zombies here. Here, Richtofen replaced the hounds with jumping jacks, which were a mutated form of phasing zombie. By this time, all the Nova 6 was gone, but they were agile and could spawn at Richtofen's will. While fighting against the zombies, one of the survivors obtained a sniper rifle.
We must neutralize any errant energy fields in order to prevent Maxis from enacting his plan. Take whatever action is necessary to ensure the sources do not fall under his control. If you can find them!
You will need the weapon you hold in due time. Ensure you guard it with your life.
Maxis and Richtofen then both tried to talk to the survivors at the same time. Maxis spoke through electronic devices, Richtofen spoke through Samuel. They were both saying that they needed to keep that weapon. The survivors then turned the power on, and they found that the mall and sweatshop shared a power grid.
Vital energy flows through all things, living or dead. My power to manipulate these forces is fragile and limited. That is why I need your help. Bunkoff!
Richtofen then told Samuel that he was glad they turned the power on, but he needed more of his help. The survivors then stepped on 4 panels on top of the elevators.
Yes! The energy fields are growing, but further manipulation is needed before we achieve control.
The alignment has begun. You are on the right path. Please, continue. You must trigger the symbols in the correct order. An order that only trial and error will reveal.
Maxis and Richtofen then told the survivors that what they had done had affected the power output, but they needed more to be done. The survivors then stepped on 4 panels with Chinese symbols surrounding the area.
Excellent! The energy fields are changing, transforming, flowing. You are on the right path. You must look for objects of steel. With the appropriate weapon, their energy fields can be manipulated.
Maxis and Richtofen were pleased. Maxis told them to find some balls of steel. They found them using the sniper rifle in the dragon signs' mouths. They were ancient Chinese spheres of steel. One represented fire and the other represented light. They shot them, dislodging them.
It is working! The sphere has relocated. Now, one more must be found.
The balls! It's all about the balls! You must purge the energy before Maxis interferes! Perhaps a rapid liquefaction will suffice, yeah? Then do it!
The energy within the spheres is in flux. Fear not, we will need them in due course. Now, find the Enlightened One. A blood sacrifice alone is not enough. Reincarnation is key.
Maxis and Richtofen then talked at length over each other. Maxis wanted them to take the balls and go to the room with the Buddha engraving, and he told them that reincarnation was key. Richtofen wanted them to use some type of liquid to make the balls get stuck within the 2 statues near where he had spawned them. In one version of events, the survivors decided to go look for a device that could spray liquid. They found various parts of this liquefier lying around the sweatshop and put them together. They then used it to spray acid on one of the balls.
Yeah! Make those balls wet, you whore! More! Keep going! You cannot have dry balls, cannot dry balls. Not good.
If you cannot follow my instructions, then you are of no use to me.
Maxis was not pleased at all, and practically disavowed the survivors. Richtofen was overcome with joy and told them to continue. So the survivors used this liquefier to spray acid on the other ball.
Oh, that was good. Maxis will no longer be able to get his filthy hands on those balls. Those also wet balls. Now, the real fun can begin.
Richtofen was very pleased and told them that they needed to make a blood sacrifice. The survivors put together a wireframe, bellows flag, and engine to make what they called the trample steam.
Oh, look at you! So clever! The machine can automate the undead's destruction.
Richtofen admired their cleverness in death automation. The survivors placed trample steams facing the spire on top of the buildings.
Keep going! More machines are needed! I'm so excited! I'm so pleased. Keep going. I love it when we plan and come together! What were we doing?
Zombies began running into the trample steams, and the trample steams flung the zombies to their deaths at the spire.
Look at them go! More blood! More blood! Holding back! Holding back! We're so close, we're so close, we're so close. I can feel it! Only with your combined energy can we fully control the tower. You need a conduit for the electrical energy contained within your living flesh. Any ideas? Oh, I know. How about those electric knuckle punchy things?
After finally flinging enough zombies, Richtofen told them that they had flung enough and told them to use the galvanuckles to electrocute the 4 supports of the spire. They found that it had to be done in a certain order. The order was recorded in mahjong tiles found in the 2 buildings. After finding them, they determined which order in which they needed to be hit. The survivors punched the 4 supports of the spire with the galvanuckles in the correct order, successfully powering the spire for Richtofen.
Good work, Samuel. Look to the dragon. The energy flows. Oh, how it flows on my face. Keep your ears open, Samuel Stullinger. You will hear me. Again, 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 again. Ah, that's the echo effect. I love it. I'm still here.
Richtofen was very pleased, and he thanked Samuel. However, Maxis was furious.
You humans are so flawed, unable to follow even the most basic commands.
However, in another version of events, when the survivors were brought to life and trying to survive, the survivors instead decided to get the ballistic knife and upgrade it via Pack-a-Punch. The upgraded ballistic knife, known as the cross-refibrillator, they found could revive people.
The regenerative powers of that device are vital to our success. Ensure you do not lose it.
Maxis commended them on obtaining the weapon. Richtofen sulked in silence. The survivors went to the room with the Buddha engraving like Maxis wanted and began to kill zombies there to release their life energy.
Yes, keep going. More blood. Reincarnation will reveal the way forward.
After killing enough zombies, Maxis repeated what he said about reincarnation, so the survivors used the cross-refibrillator.
Ah, yes! Do you see? The energy of their broken souls has been released. The energy fields remain in flux. Matter must be transformed before it can be contained. The spire must be energized with fire and light. Create a field with which to bind it.
Maxis was very pleased. He stated that killing the zombies and using the weapon had released a lot of life energy within the room. He told them to bind energy around the spire, so the survivors put together a wireframe bellows flag and engine to make what they called the trample steam. They placed the trample steam on top of the buildings.
You must keep going! The spire awaits energy!
All 4 trample steams were arranged into a cross around the spire.
It must be flanked by fire and light.
Maxis told them to place the balls on the trample steams, so they did, and the trample steams flung them back and forth, creating a field that contained the energy.
It is working! We are near our goal! Form a stand, charge in hand. Only then will the spire be ours.
Maxis told them to use the galvanuckles to electrocute the 4 supports of the spire. They found that it had to be done in a certain order. The order was recorded in mahjong tiles found in the 2 buildings. After finding them, they determined which order in which they needed to be hit. The survivors punched the 4 supports of the spire with the galvanuckles in the correct order, successfully powering the spire for Maxis.
Excellent work, humans. Your allegiance brings us one step closer to our goal. You have taken an important step. The spire has been activated. Now, you must locate and activate the others if we are to prevent Richtofen's plans from reaching fruition.
Maxis was very pleased, and he thanked the humans. However, Richtofen was furious.
Nein! You're not listening. I try to be patient. Really, I do. But you ruined everything!
The spire was then powered for either Richtofen or Maxis. The survivors found parts to another nav card reader in the Great Leap Forward area. They built it just like they built the last one. They inserted the nav card they found in Green Run into the nav card reader, and it accepted it. They found another nav card in a shop in the mall, but the reader would not accept that one. Meanwhile, back at the diner in the Green Run area, Richtofen decided to entertain himself. He had 4 zombies that had formerly been members of the CDC. He used his resurrection powers to bring them back to life as humans. However, he entertained himself by having them all fight to be human, and every time they died, they became zombies again. It was not known what became of the last standing human. After powering the Spire, the survivors went on many adventures in the zombie-infested wasteland of the planet, constantly being taken from place to place via portals that Richtofen constructed. Eventually, Richtofen and Maxis abandoned trying to get the survivors to power the last tower and instead opted to convince others that were near the last tower. The survivors then began to wander the Earth. They fought their way through the Far East, through the Middle East, and into Africa. Some groups of survivors happened upon the rift in Africa. Maxis and Richtofen urged those survivors to help them power the mining tower that was above the buried town below. Many groups of survivors came and died. Some were more successful than others, but none completed Maxis's nor Richtofen's goals. 4 members of the CIA and 4 members of the CDC were among the survivors that came upon the rift. However, their bickering led Richtofen to just pit them against each other like he had done to the last CIA and CDC members. Richtofen also decided to entertain himself by turning zombies into humans temporarily, just like he had done before at the diner. Misty, Marlton, Samuel, and Russman were heading down through Africa, just passing Egypt, when they stopped in the ruins of an airplane.
Enough walking for today. We set up camp here. In case you boneheads have forgotten, the world is broken. Very broken. The dead walk the earth, and what remains of civilization is at the mercy of forces we barely understand.
What makes you think we're gonna find something different at this new place?
I don't know that we will, but at least we'll be sure.
Sure of what, exactly?
I don't know.
His memory's going again.
Your name is Russman. Russ Man.
That my first or last name?
We don't know. You're just Russman. Yeah, anyway, you're a former operative from Broken Arrow. You've been walking the Earth since the, incident.
Yeah. I think I remember. The town.
That's right!
That's where you found us!
When we met, you already had your lapdog in tow.
What do you mean, lapdog, huh? I'm the only one who knows what to do!
Don't talk stupid, Stu. All you know is whatever the German tells you to think.
I don't think you're in any position to ridicule Mr. Stuhlinger, particularly given your own proclivities.
You better watch your mouth before you say something you regret, boy.
Enough! We need to remember why we're here. We've all been jumping through hoops for reasons we don't fully understand.
Fully understand?
All right, for reasons we don't understand at all. Point is, we do it. We keep moving, we keep fighting. It's what we do, day in, day out. If you really need a reason why we do this, I'll give you one. We do it because doing something, anything, is better than doing nothing.
The rift is less than one day's travel. We move at dawn.
What if we don't find answers?
Then we'll just have to ask more questions.
Russman said that their next destination would let them be sure, but his memory loss prevented him from explaining any further. Misty gave Marlton, Samuel, and Russman a motivational speech for why they killed the undead. Later, they finally arrived at the rift in what was once Angola, and the old western town lay deep below underground. They stood upon the lower levels of a broken mining tower when Maxis noticed their presence and greeted them.
Attention, my corporeal friends. You can hear me, yes? Our journey inches ever closer to its conclusion. This location represents the final piece of a puzzle beyond the comprehension of your mortal minds. With your help, we will heal the Earth. Energy from the ether is at its strongest this close to the rift. You must harness this energy in order to power the tower seen from this vantage point. In order to achieve our goal, you must venture beneath the surface. I will endeavor to monitor and advise on your progress, but you must remain vigilant. Richtofen will stop at nothing to achieve his psychotic goals.
Maxis told them that to activate the remaining functional mining tower, they must go below ground through an opening revealed by the mining operation and the tectonic shift of the ground from when the missiles hit. Maxis then explained how the depth hindered his communication and that he needed their help. Richtofen then took notice of the group.
My communications are more fractured below ground. It is essential that you find the parts needed to complete a structure capable of delivering power to the tower above ground.
Samuel? Samuel Stullinger?
What? Oh, no, not again.
Calm yourself, Samuel. We're all friends here, are we not?
Not really. Me and Russman are buddies, but, I hate that girl with a passion.
We have no time for such petty rivalries, my friend. I fear that Maxis may manipulate your companions into following his orders. He can be a very convincing liar. I know this firsthand. For now, you must focus on only gaining control of the tower above ground. It is more important than you can possibly imagine.
So, no pressure then?
The components necessary to build an energy conduit to power the tower can all be sourced from this location. When you find them, you must ensure that they are not used to help Maxis.
Both Richtofen and Maxis tried more to behave themselves, be nice, and appeal to the survivors to convince them to power the mining tower, again forcing them to choose between Richtofen and Maxis. Richtofen treated them as he had done earlier. Every time they died fighting zombies in the Battle of Buried, he spawned them back to life for them to try again, desperately hoping they'd choose to help him. The mining operation above, along with the buried town below, were collectively known as Resolution 1295. At one point, the survivors managed to build another nav card reader, just like they had in Green Run and Great Leap Forward. They inserted the nav card they had found into the nav card reader, which accepted it. They also found a nav card in Resolution 1295. In between deaths, Richtofen spawned them back in the Green Run area just long enough to place that nav card in the nav card reader there, which accepted it. So then, all the nav card readers were working, something that was essential for all the towers to work. While they were in the town, they found a very tall man in overalls, unable to perform speech, who was strong and immune to zombies, trapped in a jail cell. Not knowing his real name, they referred to him as the Big Guy. They used a key to let him out, and they gave him booze and candy to entice him to help them. In one version of events, the survivors came upon a guillotine in the town, to Richtofen's amusement.
Ah! Perfect! Und guillotine! Find and bring the parts to this location. Together we will thwart Maxis. Don't worry, we don't actually need to cut off his head. I was talking metaphorically. Although decapitations can follow if time permits.
You must follow my instructions without further delay. Please continue.
Richtofen told them that the guillotine could be used to further his goals. They went to go find the parts to add to the guillotine to fulfill Richtofen's plan. They added a dish, some wires, a strange crystal, and an antenna to the guillotine.
Wunderbar! You have done so well, but we are not finished yet. Listen for my helpful advice. I can only apologize if it seems cryptic. I cannot see so well from here.
I do not wish to seem unsympathetic to your own situation, but you really must proceed with my orders.
They found some devices that amplified ethereal energy within the ground called amplifiers.
Oh, look! Just what we're looking for. Well, almost. They need a little more oomph before they will serve our needs. Find the right tool, Samuel, but do it quickly. Your allies may yet choose to follow Maxis.
What reason do you have for such disobedience? Is one of you listening to the wrong advice?
Richtofen told them the amplifiers needed a bit more power, So they found the paralyzer that Maxis left, and they charged the amplifiers up with even more ethereal energy by firing the paralyzer at them.
Ooh, look at that! That's perfect! It's bigger and better! Find the others! Repeat the process! There should be a little light floating around. Perhaps some poltergeist resided within.
I have warned you before. Do not listen to the words of others. I had hoped I would not need to warn you again.
A lantern that seemed ethereal in nature then began to float around the place. They used a grenade to bring it down.
Pick up the lantern. I'm sure it is harmless enough. Departed souls leave residual energy in their wake. This energy must be used to fuel the lantern.
I cannot tell you just how much you put at risk by your non-compliance.
Richtofen told them they needed to fill the lantern with energy. They went to the mansion of Sarah Faraday, and they entered it. She sent projections of herself to combat them to get them out of her house. However, they killed the projections, which unleashed energy that filled the lantern.
Listen carefully, my friend. Now the lantern is full of juicy ghost juiciness. Oh! You must use its power to show you the way. So sorry, I'm being cryptic again. Basically, I'm telling you to go shine its light on stuff.
Survivors that had previously come far in helping Richtofen or Maxis knew what needed to be done next, and they had written it down in the form of a coded clue. The lantern was able to light up the coded markings.
This talk of energy is so vague, yeah? It's best not to worry about it. Just think of the big ones. Positive and negative. North and south. Light and dark. Good and evil. Anyway, cheer up. It's all good. You just need to smear the right area with some fresh zombie blood. Oh, it's so fresh.
The survivors decoded the message, which indicated 3 signs. They found the signs in the tunnels and they hit them with galvanuckles in the correct order, revealing the wisp.
Maxis calls it a wisp. It's really just a ball of life force imprisoned in this place for all eternity. It is probably best not to dwell on what it really is. It will make you so sad.
The wisp was a being that managed to outlive its physical body or bodies. It began to teleport around the town, and they used Vulturate elixir to see through the walls to see where the wisp was. It fed off of their life energy, and it eventually ended up attached to the guillotine. When zombies approached it, pieces of the wisp attached to the zombies.
Kill it! Kill it now! I want its energy! I must have its energy!
Richtofen instructed them to kill the zombies to take their energy. They killed a few more zombies like this until the guillotine was powered to Richtofen's satisfaction.
Okay, Samuel, I don't want you to get upset over it, but it seems that somewhere along the way, we accidentally tore a teensy-weensy hole in the fabric of time and space. Like I said, it's nothing to worry about, but you need to cross your own timeline in order to put things right. Just detonate a time bomb near the guillotine, and everything will be hunky-dory.
Richtofen informed them that somehow they had accidentally created a hole in the fabric of space and time, specifically a paradox. He told them to place a time bomb on the guillotine, and they did so. Then they triggered the makeshift time machine they had crafted.
Welcome to your future. Now hurry and find the switch. Ironically enough, we do not have much time.
It took them far into the future, to a so-called round infinity. In this future, the survivors had been killed by the zombies. Richtofen told them to find a switch.
Now Samuel, search their cold, dead bodies.
Richtofen told them that the switch would be on one of the corpses. However, Samuel was a bit disturbed when he came upon the corpses of his companions.
It shouldn't be too upsetting. I know you weren't close.
Samuel was even more disturbed when he found his own dead body.
Oh yeah, maybe I should have warned you about that. Now don't get upset, Sammy boy. They're going to put things right.
Richtofen reassured him that finding the switch would prevent their deaths from occurring, hence the paradox. They eventually found the switch and came back to their relative present.
So many puzzles, so many games. Where do they come from, huh? Ooh, that's a ghost. Maxis does this all the time, you know. You're not the first. He will push you as far as he can, following his own ridiculous rules, only to cast you aside like used tissues. I won't do that to you, Samuel Stullinger. I like you too much. Now be a good boy and run along to the maze. I'm sure it's now just a simple matter of flipping the switches in the correct order.
Richtofen then told them to go to the maze in the backyard of Sarah's mansion. They then pulled the switches in the maze in the correct order, which pleased Richtofen.
Ah, I'm so proud of you! We are inching ever closer to our goal. Many inches of inching. Oh, do you ever wish for something so hard that you think you're going to burst if you don't get it? Well, today all our wishes are going to come true. Just take all your hard-earned pennies along to the fountain.
Richtofen told them to go to the fountain in the courtyard of the town.
Now, throw your pennies into the fountain and we get to play a fun little game. Move quickly, my little cowboy. Here! You must shoot all the targets.
When they activated the fountain, a sharpshooter game appeared throughout the town. They managed to shoot every last target, which was the last step in activating the fully powered mining tower. Having accomplished that, the mining tower became powered for Richtofen. However, in another version of events, when the survivors were brought to life and trying to survive, the survivors instead came upon gallows in the town, to Maxis' amusement.
Great! These gallows are positioned in the optimum location. Find the necessary parts and bring them here.
You have to do what I say, Samuel. It really is very important.
Maxis told them that the gallows could be used to further his goals. They went to go find the parts to add to the gallows to fulfill Maxis' plan. They added 2 fuel cells, some wires, a car battery, and an antenna to the gallows.
Excellent! Continue at pace. 2 more components are required. Ensure that they are not used to further Richtofen's nefarious goals. The structure is almost complete. You are brave warriors, my friends. Perhaps braver than those who walked this road before you.
You need to get the others to do what you tell them. That's what working together is, huh? Do it!
They found some devices that amplified ethereal energy within the ground called amplifiers.
These devices, embedded in the earth, they amplify and project energy. You cannot allow Richtofen to exploit their power. For them to be destroyed, you must find a device capable of projecting a powerful sonic blast.
Explain it to them. I don't care if they are talking over you. Just tell them what they have to do!
Maxis told them they needed to destroy the amplifiers so Richtofen couldn't use them. So they created a device called the Subsurface Resonator, which was able to project a sonic blast. They used the Subsurface Resonator along with the turbine they made to destroy the amplifiers.
Oh, you are both imaginative and ingenious. Continue to find and destroy each amplifier. Do not allow your pace to falter. There is still much to do. I am most pleased to see that the amplifiers are destroyed. You must capture the wayward spirit of the lantern. Its power is key to achieving our mission. Brute force may be required to bring it within reach.
Why don't you listen to me? Did I do something wrong, huh? I'm so annoyed, I don't even want to speak to you!
A lantern that had seemed ethereal in nature then began to float around the place. They used a grenade to bring it down.
Good! Now you must secure the lantern to ensure that it is not used to advance Richtofen's plans. The lantern is a vessel for energy, the energy contained within all matter. You must find a method to manipulate the power of the undead. Their energy may provide vital fuel for the lantern. Lest you face corruption from the errant energy, you may need help from a soul already bound to this realm.
You really are quite pathetic, aren't you? Where would you be without me? Nowhere! That's where! I hate you! I hate you so much!
Maxis then told them they needed to fill the lantern with energy. They gave the big guy some candy from the candy store to convince him to help them out. He began to beat up the zombies around them, releasing life energy that filled the lantern.
You must ensure the lantern is safe from harm. The energy contained within is essential to illuminate the words of those who came before you. Their wisdom will show you the way.
Some survivors that had previously come far in helping Richtofen or Maxis knew what needed to be done next, and they had written it down in the form of a coded clue. The lantern was able to light up the coded markings.
Though they failed to complete the task, the others left clues for those who followed. Only a burst of electricity will have the brute force necessary to release the energy bound to this realm.
The survivors decoded the message, which indicated 3 signs. One of the 4 laid a time bomb down. Then they found the signs in the tunnels, and they hit them with the Galvan Knuckles in the correct order, revealing the Wisp.
Follow the Wisp. He will show you the way.
The Wisp was a being that managed to outlive his physical body or bodies. He began to roam around the town, and they had to kill zombies around the Wisp to keep him alive, as he fed off of the zombies' life energy. He eventually entered one of the fuel cells of the gallows.
The Wisp's life force has been exhausted, but further energy is required. I had hoped that it would not come to this, but it appears we must manipulate time itself in order to supply sufficient energy to the tower. There is a device that will allow you to create a point in time that you can return to when you choose. This may prove to be the only method for extracting sufficient energy from the Wisp.
Fortunately, they had laid down a time bomb. The person who laid down the time bomb then triggered it, making time reverse back to when they had laid it down. However, the fuel cell remained powered despite the reversal of time. They then revealed the Wisp again, and they killed more zombies around the Wisp again until he again went to the gallows, this time in the other fuel cell.
Now that the structure has power, we need only to direct its energy towards the surface. There is a rudimentary control grid somewhere in this cursed place. Perhaps a remnant of its twisted past.
Upon Maxis' instructions, they then found a strange device within the Faraday mansion. By pulling the lever and pressing bells found throughout the town, while Sarah repeatedly attacked them, they managed to activate the device.
You must proceed to the fountain in order to set the final chain of events in motion. This is it! Sufficient payment will initiate a final challenge. Quickly! The targets must be destroyed!
Maxis was pleased. He told them to go to the fountain. When they activated the fountain, a sharpshooter game appeared throughout the town. They managed to shoot every last target, which was the last step in activating the fully powered mining tower. Having accomplished that, the mining tower became powered for Maxis. Even after many resets, many versions of events didn't favor Richtofen or Maxis. Maxis' plan B did not glow in an array of any one particular color. Since the device was not fully powered for Maxis nor Richtofen, neither gained penultimate power. The world remained in a state of limbo between the bickering disputes of Maxis and Richtofen. The fate of the survivors was death, followed by resurrection by Richtofen. After many resets, one version of events finally played out in Richtofen's favor. Maxis' plan B glowed blue in all of the slots, indicating that the Tower of Babel, Spire, and Mining Tower had all been powered for Richtofen, and that the nav cards had activated all 3.
Every tower has been activated, just as I planned. We can finally begin our endgame!
When the survivors approached it, it opened to reveal a large button. They pressed it, which activated a chain of events that ultimately resulted in giving Richtofen penultimate power.
Finally, I am in control! The ether is mine to manipulate as I wish! The moon is now my own personal plaything!
What have you done?
I've won, Maxis! That's what I've done!
But what about Samantha? Your actions condemn my daughter's very soul to eternal damnation! Even if you do not care for her, surely you wish to return to your own body!
Not really, no. Won't I already possess the power to leave this netherworld and re-enter the physical realm once more? I can choose anybody I wish! As for you, Maxis, you will simply cease to be. Auf Wiedersehen, Toodles!
No!
Take a deep breath, Samuel. We're about to get a whole lot closer. At last I am, what's the word? Corporeal? No. Physical. Whatever. I have my very own body. I can touch. Yeah. I can feel. I can smell. Oh, maybe that's not such a good thing. What is that stink? No. Wait. Something's wrong. I am struggling to control my movements. Okay, maybe I just need some practice.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, Samuel! You're still here? Okay. This is a little awkward. It's really not that different how things were before, Sammy. We get to talk to each other, play games, have fun. It's really quite exciting. You'll like the fact that we're going to be eating more salad.
For you, maybe. For me, it's just a big bowl of fucking suck!
That doesn't come in a bowl, but I do understand, Sammy. Just carry on as normal, and I'll try to leave you alone for a while.
Richtofen gained full control over the ether. He killed Maxis, and then he entered Samuel's body so he could interact with the physical realm. He rewarded the survivors for their efforts, and the Earth became a toy for Richtofen. However, Richtofen found that he could not separate himself from Samuel's body, and he was forced to have a limited perspective through the eyes of a single individual despite all of the power he possessed. Richtofen's victory was much less than he desired. Eventually, the survivors died. After many resets, one version of events finally played out in Maxis' favor. Maxis' plan B glowed orange in all of the slots, indicating that the Tower of Babel, Spire, and Mining Tower had all been powered for Maxis, and that the nav cards had activated all three.
Yeah, the towers are all under my control. It is time to begin the purge.
When the survivors approached it, it opened to reveal a large button. They pressed it, which activated a chain of events that ultimately resulted in giving Maxis penultimate power.
The process has begun. Now I control the ether's energy. I can at last reach Agatha.
You fools! Why did you listen to him?
Regretfully, I must inform you that neither the Earth nor its people will survive.
I tried so hard to warn you. Don't go!
Once the gateway is open, I will finally be reunited with my dearest Samantha.
Hello? Are you forgetting something? Even if your wretched daughter is still alive, she has my body!
If you are so eager to re-enter the physical world, Richtofen, I will grant you that wish!
Maxis gained full control over the ether, and the zombie's eyes turned orange to indicate he was in control. He revealed his true intentions, that he lied about healing the Earth, that he actually wanted to use his power to reunite with his long-lost daughter Samantha. His plan was to shatter the barriers of the universe and realms in the hopes of reaching another realm, another reality, specifically Argatha, where he believed his daughter might still exist. In the meantime, Maxis put Richtofen's soul into the body of a zombie. Every time the zombie died, he transferred into a new zombie. Eventually, Maxis shattered the 63rd universe into billions of alternate branching realities. Each of these realms told a different version of history, and Maxis hoped that in some, Samantha still lived, even if he didn't live to ever see her. Some of these alternate realms were even versions of events where Maxis wasn't given penultimate power, and in some, Richtofen had achieved penultimate power instead of Maxis. The history that led to Maxis achieving penultimate power was the Alpha Realm, but billions of other realms now existed, isolated, not knowing. Therefore, Maxis shattered the 63rd universe, and in so doing, he destroyed the Alpha Realm and this version of the Earth, killing the survivors, Richtofen himself, and all others on the Earth. The first one was appalled and found that it couldn't possibly govern so many realms.